Hey there, welcome to Glowland. My name is Lena, and I am so excited to be on episode 2 of this podcast. I've been thinking about it throughout the week and sort of trying to figure out how to do an intro, and I still don't know clearly. So here we are. But this week, I am going to be discussing my current nighttime skincare routine. I talked about my morning routine last week, and so I wanted to dedicate an entire episode to my nighttime routine because it's a lot longer and a lot more complex than my morning routine. So let's get into it. But first, I wanted to say, of course, I sort of mentioned that I have an Instagram last week for Glowland, but I didn't actually say the name of it. So the handle for my Instagram for the podcast is at Glowland Skin. So if you want to give that a follow, if you're new here, I know right now it's just like friends and family listening, and they're like, yeah, we know what your handle is. But for anybody who doesn't know me, that's the handle. So go and give that a follow. But yeah, let's get into it. There's a lot to go through. I want to start by saying my nighttime skincare routine is dependent upon two things, and that is what time of year it is. I know I mentioned last time that because it's winter right now and the air is cold and dry, that I have a very different skincare routine in the morning than what I would do in the summer when it's hot and humid, which makes sense. Same thing goes for my nighttime routine. In the winter, I try to focus more on moisturizing and just really putting back all that hydration and moisturization that I lose throughout the day. And I do have a humidifier in my room because of course I do. So that's one thing that sort of determines what my routine is for that evening. The other thing that really determines what products I'm going to use is any and all issues that I want to address, whether that's I'm having a breakout or I've got dry patches happening or my skin just seems a little congested or something. All of those things contribute to what I decide to put on my face for the night. So let's get started. The first thing I do, of course, is remove makeup and sunscreen and dirt with an oil cleanser. I'm a big double cleanse fan for the end of the day. I don't double cleanse in the morning because it's not really necessary. But at night, after a long day, I do use an oil cleanser. It gets off my mascara much more easily than, anything else would. I'm not really a micellar water girl, and I'm not a makeup wipe girl. But yeah, I've been using oil cleansers and cleansing balms for a while now, for a few years now, and I love them. And sometimes while I'm doing this step, I'll also do a mini facial massage. Just a little something to sort of, after a whole day of making expressions or maybe being stressed, I just give myself a little facial massage. And sometimes I do a longer facial massage, and I'm definitely going to talk about that in a future episode. But I won't get super into that right now. So that's how I start. Remove the makeup, emulsify, which I'm not even going to get into what emulsification is, and rinse that off. And then my next step is I go in with a foaming cleanser, a water-based cleanser. So right now I'm using the Crave Beauty Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser. Bit of a mouthful. And I love that cleanser because it definitely fully washes my face. It gets off everything left over post oil cleanse. But it's really gentle on my skin. It doesn't dry out my skin a whole bunch, which is great because I really don't like that tight and dry feeling after I've washed my face. And I forgot to say the name of my oil cleanser. Right now I'm using the Vanilla Co. Clean It Zero, which is, if you're like a K-beauty fan, that's kind of a classic. That's kind of the go-to, the OG, and for good reason. I mean, it works really well. It's great. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So those are my two cleansers for my double cleanse. At that point, that's when I get in the shower. I shower at night. I am a night shower person. I think it's, like, I feel weird about, like, taking, like, any, like, dirt or sweat or grime or whatever with me into bed. So I do shower at night. I feel like that also just keeps my sheets clean for longer. I mean, I still wash my sheets, like, every other week, but, yeah, I mean, they're not even, like, gross when I wash them. But I guess there's like a little bit of germaphobe in me. So yeah, I hop in the shower, do all that. And then when I get out, I go in with an essence. Now, I sort of skipped over this, but if my skin feels particularly congested, or I just like really want to exfoliate, like really thoroughly, once or twice a week, I'll go in either right before I shower or in the shower with the Dermalogica Daily Microfoliant. And that's both an enzymatic and chemical exfoliant. And I feel like I'm using all the biggest words ever here. But basically, I mean, it clears out my pores. It gets rid of dead skin, sort of takes off any remaining dead skin cells, that like sort of top layer of skin, without being too harsh or anything. I used to use sort of AHA, BHA kind of toners and exfoliants religiously, and those are great. I love them. I feel like sometimes they're a bit harsh for me, especially right now when my skin's already struggling with being dry all the time. Probably don't need to dry it out any further by constantly, giving myself like a mini chemical peel. So, yeah, I've been on the daily microfoliant train, been loving it. And yeah, just once or twice a week, nothing crazy, very optional. Just, some weeks I don't even do it, but yeah, when I feel like, oh, all my pores are clogged or something, that's a lifesaver. My skin is so soft afterwards. I love it. Anyways, either way, I'm out of the shower now. I reuse the essences that I mentioned last time, which are the Beauty of Joseon Ginseng Essence and the CosRX Snail Mucin Essence. I like to double down on those hydrating products, and really, yeah, get myself ready for the following steps. So, right now, if I use my daily microfoliant, then I will not use a retinol that evening. I also generally don't use retinol. I only use it like once a week, because once again, dries out my skin. Not great. So if I'm using my microfoliant or just having a regular night, I go in with my serums next. So the first of which is the Ordinary Multi-Peptide and Hyaluronic Acid Serum. Say hyaluronic 3 times fast. It's an impossible word. So I go in with that. If I am using retinol, but I didn't use my microfoliant, then I will also go in with, or I will only go in with my ordinary aloe plus NAG serum. And that's really, the aloe in it just like helps to soothe my skin, which is great because retinol can be really irritating. Whether or not I'm using retinol or microfoliant or whatever, after those serums, I go in with Crave Beauty's Great Barrier Relief. So this is one of my holy grail products. It really does just fix your skin barrier super fast. Like it helps with hyperpigmentation. If you have like irritation, it can help with that a little bit. And yeah, that's great for someone like me who's constantly using actives on their face and doing all kinds of stuff to their skin. This product truly, it's just there to like help heal and protect and, give my skin just a little bit of love, alongside all these harsh ingredients, all these harsh actives that I use. So, if I'm using retinol, I mix like 2 drops of the Ordinary's Grand Active Retinoid. I mix like 2 drops of that into the Great Barrier Relief, because that's really all I need. If I use more than that, my skin is super dry the next morning. Like that stuff really, yeah, it'll dry you out quick. So I just mix like a drop or 2 in with the Great Barrier Relief, and that's like enough to do what I need it to do. And I tend to use retinol on days, actually when I have like breakouts, when I have whiteheads. Since it dries out my skin, it also dries up zits, which is great. So sometimes I'll like put it on a specific spot as a spot treatment, and it'll just dry it out super quick. I've tried using things like the like Kate Somerville drying lotion, or I know Mario Badescu has the same product basically, which is it's that pink, I think it's like sulfur or something, in like an alcohol solution, and you use that as a spot treatment, and it is meant to basically just dry up as it, suck out all of like the oil and whatever's in your pore. And I used to use that, and it just didn't work super well for me, weirdly enough. I don't know if it works really well for other people. Like it must. I mean, those are like bestsellers, but yeah, I've found that retinol, just like putting retinol on a zit, is really what it almost overnight will flatten it. That especially plus like a pimple patch. Oh my God, it's like gone. It's dried out and gone the next day. Right. So we've gone through cleansing, and then we've gone through exfoliating. 2 different types of so many types of exfoliating. And then I go back in sometimes with the CosRX Snail Mucin all-in-one cream. But only sometimes. I mean, I'm about to moisturize like 3 more times after that step, so it's not super necessary, because then I go in with my Biossance Omega Repair Cream again. Super thick, super like just lovely face cream to use. And then after that, I will sometimes also take more of that moisturizer and mix in either squalane oil, if it's a regular night, or a drop of rosehip oil if it's a retinol night, because rosehip oil naturally has a lot of vitamin A, so it kind of just adds to the retinol experience there, because retinoid, those are vitamin A derivatives. So yeah, that's the gist of it. There's a lot of things. I switch around a lot, and that was probably confusing. And I'm sorry about that. It's confusing for me too. Sometimes I'm in the middle of my routine and I'm like, what did I start with and what am I ending with? Because you really don't want to mix certain ingredients together, either because they'll sort of cancel each other out. Like with my peptide serum, I don't use that with other acids. Like I don't use that with any AHAs or BHAs that are staying on my face, and I don't use it with retinol because they kind of just cancel each other out. And then what's the point of doing any of this? And then there are other things that if I combine them, they're going to cause a lot of irritation. So, for example, I very specifically said if I'm using my daily microfoliant, then I am not using a retinol. That's because they are both going to, on some level, exfoliate my skin and dry it out. So to use them on the same night I'm probably going to wake up with like super dry, flaky skin all over because that's just way too much to do in one night. Most people, their skin cannot handle that much exfoliation in one night. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. It is a bit of a science experiment every night. And every time I want to try a new product, it's kind of like, if this is replacing something, I'm using up the old one and just replacing it as soon as the old one's done, because there's no way I can fit a single other product in here. And if it's something completely different, then I'm like, I have to take out a step. If I can't replace something, then if I can't directly replace something, then I have to just remove it from the routine. I don't think it'd be healthy for me to add another product in there. Because your skin can really only absorb and handle so much, Yeah. But, I do want to, I have an honorable mention for the Glossier Solution Exfoliating Toner on nights when I do want some level of exfoliation, but for some reason I don't want to use the other two products that I've mentioned, my microfoliant or my retinol. If for some reason I'm not going to use those two, I go in with my Glossier solution, or like no exfoliating at all, of course, is the other option. If my skin's doing great, if it looks fine, I'm not going to exfoliate, like if there's literally no reason to, there's no congestion, there's no breakout, I'm not going to throw something on there, extra. So, especially right now, my skin has been in a good place. And it's been kind of dry because this week is like the coldest week we've had in a while. We've had in a long time here in Pittsburgh. And my skin is feeling it and I'm feeling it. And yeah, the beginning of the week, I was like, there's no way I'm exfoliating this week. Not if I'm going outside. If I were staying inside the entire week, I would consider it. But no, I have to go outside to like go to work and stuff. And yeah, there's no way that I'm exfoliating this week. That's just asking for trouble. And it's really, I think about things like that every night when I'm trying to figure out what I want to do to my face. I feel like most people kind of stick to the same exact thing every night. I think that is perfect, especially if you're not using a bunch of exfoliants like I am. The less products you use, the better, as long as you stick to, what I said before was just cleanse, moisturize, and during the day sunscreen, truly all you need. But yeah, that was my nighttime routine. And all of the nuance of it. I hope you enjoyed that little rundown. I am trying to think of sort of, all my future episode ideas. I've got a note in my notes app going of a few already. I've gotten some really good ideas from friends, and I'd love to hear feedback and everything. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can DM me at Glowland Skin and give me questions or just topic ideas or anything. I'd love to talk about whatever on here because I really am keeping this casual. I mean, I really started this podcast for fun. So it's like really not that serious at this point. So yeah, I mean, anything anyone wants to hear about, shoot me a DM or comment on a post and just be like, yo, Lena, please cover this thing. And there's a very high chance of me covering it and answering your question, especially right now. I sort of have next week planned. But yeah, anything past that is truly just, up in the air right now. So yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you have some great skin days, and I will talk to you guys later.